and welcome to Stories and Scribes. My name is Jemima, and you can also call me Jade, and I'm so excited to be here. I just want to say thank you to everyone who has subscribed to my channel and liked, commented in the videos that we've done in the past. Welcome to 2020 again, and let's dive right into it. So, towards the end of last year, I joined a group called the Mosaic collection, and it's a collection of women who have put their resources together, creative energies together to bring out 12 books in 12 months. But when I heard of it, I was so thrilled because it's amazing how people are dedicated and committed to bringing the love of God, the love of Jesus through their stories and putting themselves under that kind of creative tension or energy to produce a book a month. It's to write a book a month is really not easy, to go through production, publication, and writing, and all of that process. So I really want to thank the Mosaic collection for the opportunity you've given me to read this book, and I also do reviews on it, even though I'm not required or mandated to, in that sense. So the first book I read in the Mosaic collection, which is I think the fourth book that they have released so far, is called A Beautiful Mess by Brenda Anderson. And this book was wonderful, was wonderful. I can tell you that because it touched on topics that were really, we could say hard topics, like divorce, hard topics like infidelity, hard topics like forgiveness, hard topics of mental health, hard topics of when a friend goes through and you have to be loyal to that friend in spite of, the relationships you've had with both sides. And I think that the journey it took me also realized that, there are depths of forgiveness in that you have no idea about. There's someone hurts you, you forgive. How do you love a child that her conception was the straw that hit the camel's back and made your whole family split? And the story was really touching in various ways. I cried, I laughed, I was sorry, it was just a mixture of emotions. But before we continue, let's do the synopsis so that we can get the overall gist of the story. So nearly 4 years ago, Erin's happy life became a shattered mess after her husband admitted to an affair and a child had been conceived. He left her and their young daughter for his new family. Now she's ready to put the pieces of her life together. She's set to launch her own business and even thinks her heart might be open for romance should the right man come along. But when everything seems to be lining up, she receives a devastating call. Her ex-husband and his wife had been killed in a car accident, and Erin is listed in their will as the daughter's legal guardian. How can she be a mother to a child, let alone love the child who broke up her marriage? Does she have the courage to start over yet again and turn this mess into a mosaic of beauty? A single mother's journey from bitterness to forgiveness. See, when I read this book, there's some things that that when you read, you can only say, if it's me, I don't know how I'm going to handle it. If it's me, I don't know how I'm just going to be. And truly, anybody in that situation, except the love of God shed abroad in your heart by the Holy Ghost, is the one at work in you. Every person will react negatively to that kind of information. Okay, I got married, you cheated on me, a child was conceived. And yes, I know that, the breaking of a marriage is hurtful to both parties, and especially when somebody feels disadvantaged when that happens. Like Erin, her husband left her with a child to go and marry another woman when she was conceived with a child. That level of abandonment, that disappointment after putting my whole life into it and just left me for another woman, and it was so hurtful. And you just imagine how she had to cope with all of that. Okay, having gone through the bitterness phase of it, she had to forgive him in a way, because time will pass. You think about it in retrospect, and you come to the point that okay, it has happened, let's move on. And she had to come to the point where She had already started aligning herself. Okay, I lost a bit of myself, I lost a bit my family, I have my daughter to think of, but I have to take care of myself as well. And in the course of the journey into getting to that space and to that point, her husband had called her to say, he was sorry, that he was asking for forgiveness and all of that. And this kind, leave me alone. I am facing my lane and I'm trying to put my life together. Don't come and disrupt what I'm already trying to put in place. Only for her to get a call a few days later, after he had called for reconciliation, that he was in a ghastly accident and eventually he died. And he died with his wife. And all of a sudden, she was the legal guardian to their daughter. Like, can you imagine? Can you even think about it? My husband divorced me for you. That's the wife. And you guys had a child together because she was pregnant when he left. And now you're both dead and you now put me as a legal guardian to this child. How am I supposed to extend love to this child? And I know that, yes, it's not this child's fault. Like, really, it's not her fault. But how do I put myself and my emotion together to show love to this child? It will be hard. Anyone that says it's a walk in the park is not either facing reality or has not really dealt with it. Because anybody that's presented with this kind of situation, you have to deal with it. You have to deal with it in the place of prayer. You have to deal with it in your own heart. You have to allow God walk his walk in you for you to be able to handle that situation with grace and with love. And with even a level of forgiveness. Because just imagine that's how you hear wickedness. That kind of thing. A mother will be wicked to a child because of this kind of thing. But Erin really, really, really tried. I think that with the encouragement of people around her, the boy's parents, her ex-husband's parents, her ex-husband's best friend Joe, who was secretly in love with Erin from the time that they were before, all of this, even with her daughter, who they call Six now, which was like the nickname they gave each other, Erin, her ex-husband, and Joe, when they were growing up. And it's I would tell you that it's not easy. The process of loving that child, I've come to realize that child, it wasn't this child's fault that this happened to me. The process of understanding from the man's perspective what his own fault was and how he came to realize that Jesus has to forgive me, or come to the point where I need Christ in my life, and Christ needs to help me forgive myself and help me seek for forgiveness. Because it's one thing, especially when you're in the wrong, to forgive yourself. It's another thing. It's sometimes it's always easier for you to ask for forgiveness than forgive yourself. So the whole dynamic of forgiveness is so much deeper. And I tell you that it is the love of God that causes us to forgive. Because there's some things that happen to us that humanly possible, like in your own self, like by yourself, you will not forgive. That by yourself, the thought of forgiving is like betraying yourself. But Erin, by God's grace, with the love of Joe, who was a friend, with the prompting of her daughter, even with her ex-in-laws, her brother-in-laws, all of these people came to make her realize that, yes, our brother messed up. Our brother disappointed you, broke your heart. And we also are as disappointed in him than, you would think that we should be. Because he was brought up in the way of the Lord. The mom and dad were Christians and not pretentious. They were real Christians, and they, as much as they did, brought him up in the way of the Lord. But you know how it is sometimes in life. That's why they said, train up a child in the way he should go. When he's old, he will not depart from it. Do you know that when we follow God's instruction for raising kids, no matter how far they go, they always come back to that way they were raised? So it is so important. And one of the things I love is that I love it when children encounter God for themselves. Because growing up in a Christian home, it is so easy for you to give your life to Christ. It's easy for you to follow the ways of God. It's easy for you to be around the things of God. You be church, you be Christianese because you know the Christian language and the things that we do. You know the Bible because you've heard from Sunday school to real church, to Bible study, to prayer meetings, to all of that. But I love it when you experience the world and come to Christ. Because then God will have revealed himself to you, not by virtue of what you've heard from your parents or by virtue of the environment you've had growing up as a Christian, but by your own personal encounter with God. And that was one of the things that happened to our ex-husband. God met him. And the gift that God gave him as a painter made him realize that, see, God is the one who beautifies our lives. Sometimes when you read that scripture that says that God is the author and the perfecter of our faith, sometimes if you look at it with the eye of a painter, God is the one who authors, who begins a painting. God is the one who designs the painting. God is the one who fills in the colors of your life with his painting. And guess what? He's the perfecter of our faith. What does perfecter means? He's the finisher of our faith. He's the one who puts the finishing strokes. He's the one who blows it. He's the one who makes sure that the paint has dried. He's the one who makes that the beauty of our lives is being shown with the cuts and the crevices of who we are, in our lives, with our ups and our downs, and makes a beautiful picture of who we are. And at the end of the day, when he died, everyone believed that as a painter, he joins with God to continue to paint the beauty of the wonders of the world. Now, God is love, and God's love transcends everything that we can think, imagine, our pain, our hurt, our disappointments, our struggles. And I don't know who it is that needs to forgive someone. I don't know who it is that needs to let go. I don't know who it is that you need to come to drop that hurt, that pain to Jesus. But I would love you to do that. Today, just let it go. That hurt, it was hurtful. What they did was bad, was wicked, was evil. But I want you to go to God and let it go. And let the love of God wash you. Let the love of God paint over the canvas of your life beauty. Let the love of God paint over the canvas of your life beauty for ashes. Let the love of God paint over your life the garment of praise instead of heaviness. Let the love of God paint over your life all things working together for good, fitted together to make your life beautiful. And trust me, when God is involved, everything works together for your good. So I would enjoin you on Amazon, get the book, and everywhere that it can be gotten on. Yeah, Amazon, christianbooks.com. I think they're about Book Pub as well, and Barnes and Nobles, all major bookstores around the world. Yeah, and it was a wonderful book. I would recommend it, and have a wonderful, wonderful day. Thanks for joining me today, and don't forget A Beautiful Mess by Brenda Anderson. Thank you.